Hi, and welcome to Wildly Alive. In this episode, I want to talk to you about coming home to my body. It's a story of reclaiming self-love. I used to believe that if I could just control my body, everything else would fall into place. Maybe you know that feeling. The relentless chase for the perfect weight, the perfect size, the perfect version of yourself that will finally be enough. It starts so young. This belief that our bodies are projects to be managed, molded, reduced. And for years I lived that story. I was a woman obsessed with health, but not in the way that truly nourishes. No, I was obsessed with being clean, with being pure, with eating in a way that made me feel in control. But control is a fragile thing, and the body always remembers what we try to erase. I remember the first time I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. I used to have 50 kilos, and when I recovered from orthorexia, I stepped on a scale and I had 78. I couldn't recognize myself. I stood there, frozen, staring at my reflection like it was a stranger. The body that had once felt light, hollow, something I had sculpted through years of discipline, was now something else entirely. It was heavier, softer. It was real. And it terrified me. What do you think? How do we learn to hate ourselves? I know that it didn't start with me. It never does. Body shame is passed down in glances, in offhand comments, in the way women around us measure their worth in numbers, on the scale, on clothing tags, on the plates in front of them, or just in their looks. I still remember the first time I became aware that my body was something to be judged, that I was too much in some ways and not enough in others. I remember the rules. Eat but not too much. Be pretty but not vain. Be thin but not in a way that looks unhealthy. Take up space but only the right kind of space. And we learn, don't we? We learn to shrink ourselves in ways that have nothing to do with weight. But the truth is, I didn't shrink. I expanded, and with that expansion came shame. I remember when people would come to visit us at our farm, they knew me as a raw food influencer, very skinny, and their reactions when they saw me fat were very painful and traumatic for me. That look of disappointment, disgust in their eyes, I wanted to disappear. Let's talk a little bit about the lie of thinness, that thinness equals worth. We are taught that thinness is not just beauty, but morality. To be thin is to be disciplined, in control, admirable. To be anything else is failure. But where does that idea even come from? Centuries ago, full-bodied women were the ideal, symbols of health, fertility, abundance. But then came capitalism, industrialization, and the rise of media that taught women that their value was in how little space they could take up. Diet culture is a billion-dollar industry built on our self-loathing. It thrives when we believe we are broken. I believed I was broken. And so for years, I controlled, I restricted, I shrank, until one day my body fought back. I used to say, I'm just eating clean, I'm just being healthy, But the truth was, I was starving, not just for food, but for acceptance, for peace, for a sense of home within myself. And then the breaking point came. I had spent so long believing that hunger was the enemy, that my body needed to be tamed, controlled, fixed. But in reality, my body was just trying to survive. So, to heal from orthorexia and the eating disorder that was destroying me, I did the hardest thing. I let go. I ate. I stopped running from the trauma within me. And slowly something shifted. I remember a time where I accepted my body. I was able to dance in front of the mirror. I loved my curves and everything on me. But I still wasn't into taking pictures and uploading them on Instagram to people who loved me when I was a skinny woman on raw food. But it didn't really do anything to me in my real life. I went to the pool. I went to the lake, to the beach. I wore tight things in real life without a problem. I accepted my body, but I could not accept the judgment that would come for my big body. That took years for me. And I really believed for years that health was about thinness. But I need to break it to you, that's a lie we are sold. There is a movement called the health at every size, and they say something completely different. Your body is not a problem to be solved. Weight is not the only measure of health. You deserve care, nourishment, and love exactly as you are. Studies show that dieting and weight cycling, constantly losing and regaining weight, is far more damaging than simply existing in a larger body. Chronic restriction creates stress, metabolic damage, and disordered eating patterns. What if health isn't about control? What if it is about coming home to yourself? I want to tell you about relearning body love. When we are first born, our bodies are celebrated. Everybody is happy. We are perfect as we are. But something changes over the years, and I will let you think about when it changed for you. Healing my relationship with my body wasn't about affirmations or pretending to love what I saw in the mirror. It was about something deeper. It was about trust. So how do you begin? First, you would need to recognize the inherited stories. Ask yourself, whose voice is in my head when I judge my body? Unfollow diet culture. Social media is filled with toxic messages about weight and worth. When I was recovering, I needed to completely get off of social media because it was just making me feel worse and worse. I was constantly comparing myself to other people who were still in the raw food diet movement. And I was feeling guilt that I was not. Even though I knew it was wrong for me, I knew I needed to recover, but just seeing them, it made me feel bad. And it took so many years to just accept my body, myself, without the influence of social media. Practice body neutrality. If self-love feels too far away, start with neutrality. This is my body today. It carries me through life. You can say like that. Or you can just say, it is okay. It is okay. Wear clothes that fit now, not the one-day jeans, not the tight dresses that remind you of how you used to look. Just choose clothes that allow you to breathe. Find movement you love. Whether that's dance, stretching, swimming, walking, move because your body craves it, not because you're punishing yourself. And last but not least, my favorite, reclaim pleasure. Eat the food you love, savor it, let go of guilt, let your body feel, let it expand, soften, take up space. Ask yourself now while you're listening this, what is your favorite childhood food? And when was the last time you had it? The moment I knew I'm ready and I accepted myself and I healed my relationship to food is the moment I finally found the strength to make a program for women which my soul told me was authentically mine. Because it took a lot of writing, introspection, recording, therapy, conversations to become aware of what I can offer to people. I remembered that I am not worthless when I gained weight. This is what it means to really reclaim yourself. If you're interested in learning more about my story and overcoming orthorexia and eating disorders, you can order my book, When Healthy Food Makes You Sick. Just DM me or leave a comment here and I will get in touch. If you take anything from today's episode, let it be this. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to shrink. You are allowed to take up space. Your body is not an apology. It is not a before and after picture. It is your life, your story, your home. My dear body, I will never neglect or abuse you again. Thank you for not giving up on me. That is a mantra that helped me overcome my eating disorder and reclaim peace with food and with the body I live in. What will your mantra be? Thank you for listening. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You are enough, exactly as you are. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who might need it. Subscribe to the podcast and follow me on Spotify or YouTube for more content like this. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.